Wickety wow, wickety whoa. That's sick. Welcome to the podcast of that name.
Mm-hmm.
A guide for all the little piggies of the world to become a gentleman hog, clean off the slop, get out of the trough, find your mate.
Life is a living hell.
Eric's not in a good mood today. Popping a little something. Who knows what it is?
I
Just a
open
little
my
pill.
I open my fucking bag like Hunter S. Thompson's briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
Only it's all shit you can get at CVS for the most part.
Yeah.
Or sometimes behind the pharmacy counter at a CVS.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as cool.
I would say a king's ransom worth of Adderall.
Yeah.
I would say enough.
I've started mixing neurogum and nicotine gum.
Now, what is neurogum?
What is neurogum?
Is it the kind of gum you can only open right next to the microphone?
Yeah. It's what CEOs eat.
What is it?
I don't know. It's got...
You don't know? What do you mean you don't know?
Natural caffeine, L-theanine, B vitamins. It helps you sustain mental endurance necessary to maintain your focus.
Oh.
Which I'm going to need.
Yeah, if you're going to get through the next hour. This is no longer your safe place behind a microphone. Your safe place is behind a hammer and a drill.
God.
Working on an 8x8 room.
You're just going to see me.
Decorating your fucking cell.
Sitting in the... Yeah. Building my prison. Mark blocks me in here. He says, turn the microphones on. Hang more shit on the walls.
Do you remember that short story? Did you ever read this one? Where two guys make a bet that one guy couldn't last like 15, 20 years in prison, like locked up. And they make like a very, very expensive bet. And then the guy does that. And it just sort of tracks like first year he's going fucking crazy. And then by year 5, he's just like learning. Like just reading. And then by the end of it, the other guy has like lost a lot of money. And he realizes that if this prison guy finishes the prison term, he's going to be bankrupt. So he plans to kill him. And then he like breaks into the prison cell room and the guy's gone. He's left. He abandoned it the day before because he'd learned so much.
Whoa.
About what was really important.
So is the moral of the story that knowledge is the real currency?
No, I think the moral of the story is that if you spend enough time in a cell, you go fucking nuts and you forget what's important.
Oh, yeah,
Which
Which is money. Yeah. No, I think he had a pen pal because sometimes women will write letters to men. I bet Luigi's getting tons of fan mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mangione, you mean?
No.
Who? Luigi of Mario.
Yeah, Luigi of Mario.
Yeah, he gets fan mail. He's a tall drink of water. He's really enjoying Rat Boyfriend Summer.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Luigi of Mario, like, now that fucking Barry Keoghan and fucking, what's his name from Challengers, Josh O'Connor, now that these...
Something like that, yeah.
Now that these fellas are hitting the mainstream of glamour, the Adam Drivers of the world, Luigi's a stud in that world.
Adam drove so Barry Keoghan could run.
Did I ever tell you one of the best burns I ever got on TikTok was someone calling me Adam Passenger?
That's good. That's really good.
Because I really do look like... I mean, I look like a knockoff Adam Driver, but even more so, I look like a knockoff Barry Keoghan. Mm. And I think I look like Luigi.
The cartoon.
The cartoon, yeah. Not Mangione, unfortunately. I look like Luigi Boy Gioni.
Mm. Yeah, maybe if you would have went to Iraq like Adam Driver did...
That's what I needed.
I think that probably firmed him up.
Yeah,
really
I need to get firmed
sculpt
up.
him.
Yeah.
But what's his Charles Manson, remember him?
Yeah, of course.
He got married in prison a couple times, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like the last time he got married, it turned out to be weird, and the woman like literally was just trying to get in his will to get his bones. I'm not even joking. I think I read that she and her like friend have been like, I want to get his skull and I want to get his bones after he does.
I mean, see, that just doesn't sound like someone who likes Charles Manson. That's not a plan that they would come up with. Those people would be pure of heart.
Yeah, true. I probably misread that.
Yeah. But so
You know,
go to prison.
you know how Charles Manson made music? He made he was like friends with Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys, and so the story is that he was like.
I do feel better after this cocktail of gums. By the way,
Charles Manson was one of the armchair psychology ideas of why he went fucking nuts is that he had a thwarted music career, and then when it didn't go,
I'm on my way.
He just went kooky. But
this pod doesn't take off, I'm gonna murder a celebrity in their home.
I will say this: his music not bad. It's like that. Is it kind of psychedelic '60s, kind of like Beach Boys psychedelic '60s? But I was watching this documentary online about his music career, and then the host made the best segue I've ever heard, which was, but Charles Manson isn't only known for his music. And I was riveted. I needed to know what else he could possibly be known for.
What else is he known for?
But the man with a swastika carved into his forehead, who we're filming in this prison cell, isn't only a musician.
Yeah, he went to jail for being too provocative of music.
That's where everyone was trying to put Marilyn Manson in the 90s.
Yeah, for adding steel drums to rock music.
Yeah. Ooh. Remember when Marilyn Manson did the Bowling for Columbine documentary, and there was a behind-the-scenes interview with him, and he was like, I think we need to look at the root causes of what would make young men like this behave in this manner. And everyone was like, everyone said Marilyn Manson was an idiot, but he's actually wise. He's a genius. All he had to do was say two things, not in makeup, that were not we gotta eat the world.
Yeah.
We gotta set fire to our parents and gobble them up. He just had to say two barely reasonable things, and everyone was like, this is the thinker of our time.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole sucking his own dick thing came out.
Yeah, the greatest urban legend of all time. Mm-hmm. We should remake the horror movie Urban Legends. That's what it was called, right?
There was a horror movie called that, yeah.
Yeah, except with more fun urban legends, like a guy, the
Richard Gere.
Richard Gere has a gerbil in his ass. Still to this day, the gerbil's doing well.
I mean, this is a tread upon topic at this point, but how did those spread? Before TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and internet at all.
Yeah.
Someone had to call someone on a payphone at times if they weren't near, and be like, did you hear that the officer from The Officer and a Gentleman sticks rodents up his butt?
Yeah. Yeah. And then someone else was on a news ticker
Richard Gere, stop. Puts gerbil, stop. Up rectum. Keep going.
Question mark.
Print.
Source anonymous. Stop. Quote gerbil. Stop.
Stop.
Yeah, the origin of memes, pre-internet memes.
I just sometimes sit and think about it.
Yeah.
On the schoolyard, probably.
Yeah.
Hearing stuff.
Fun to imagine I guess a town crier was the original meme spreader.
Yeah.
Ringing his bell, walking down the middle of the street.
Extra. Read all about it.
Hi. Chad Kroger and Avril Lavigne are a thing now.
A pop culture crier. That'd be good. That could be something. That could be a sketch.
Yeah, a town crier who doesn't just do the news. He also does weather. He does sports.
TMZ level trash gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox on the rocks.
Dude, God, I hope not.
Machine Gun Kelly takes on pop punk. The world isn't sure whether to embrace him.
My flag's somewhere around here, but Big Me Machine Gun Kelly flag, I didn't buy it. It came in a VIP package when I spent $400 per ticket.
Jesus.
To be on the floor.
To be on the floor at a Machine Gun Kelly show where the cum is.
Yeah. Would you like your seats pre-cummed or post-cum? I go, I'll take care of it.
Now, I want to say that our sponsor this episode is, I'm very excited about this. Now, for those of you who have used the BetterHelp therapy app,
yeah,
we are, sometimes it can be a little bit costly.
Sure.
So we are proud to work with our new sponsor, which is Much Worse Help. Mm-hmm. affordable therapy that will only set you back emotionally a bit.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just saying you're in therapy nowadays is enough.
Yeah.
If you're on a date, especially this one's for the fellas. Ladies, feel free to stay tuned. If you just say you're in therapy, you're fine. That's it.
Yeah.
Because it means you're trying. And what do women love? Trying.
Effort.
They love effort. It's like when some people don't have a security system in their home, but they still put an ADT sticker on their window. That's what muchworsetherapy.com is for.
Yeah. Much worse health. You're absolutely, that's such a good way of putting it, Eric. It's therapy for guys who want to do the bare minimum, but can't lie. They don't want to lie about going to therapy, but they don't want to pay top dollar for effective therapy. I met with a couple of much worse help therapists.
Yeah.
And they were unlicensed, obviously. And the first of them was quite young. I want to put him at 14. Yeah. And he did a lot. He gave me a lot of advice that really just boiled down to pulling my pants down and slapping myself on the butt. And then every time I did it, he'd laugh and say, no, just kidding.
Wait, what? But I do feel better.
But honestly, it's like a Catholic way of saying like 20 Hail Marys or something, you know? It's like I was punishing myself for my sins. Now, here's the problem. There's a 14-year-old unlicensed boy who's running around town with a lot of my secrets in his head.
Which perfectly brings us to our next sponsor, the lawyer for showing your ass to little kids.
Yeah.
Do you need a lawyer specifically for showing your ass to a child? Because it's your ass. It's not a big deal.
No, it's
but
not.
It's not a big deal.
It's not the dick and it's not the tits, but it absolutely.
And also, the tits are not a crime. Show your tits to kids.
But
brought to you by showyourtitstokids.com.
But if you do show your ass, you will need representation.
And an agent. Do you have representation? Because you got the stuff, kid.
Yeah, so there's a 14-year-old with what I would describe as blackmail material on me, who has my secrets. But then I met with a second much worse help therapist, and she was great. She was just sort of a stay-at-home mom who seemed to have logged on against her will. She didn't I don't think she knew that she was logging on. I think she thought that she was logging on to be a patient, but I guess I logged on and then she went through the wrong portal. So she realized that she was in the therapist role. And that's the thing about much worse help is that when you log on, you never know if you're going to be designated the patient or the therapist for that particular session.
Well, that's how they keep the prices cheap.
Yeah. So it's
became a peer-to-peer sort of.
It is peer-to-peer. So she became my therapist for the next hour, and we sort of we really got into it. Now I will say, every time I told her something that was going on in my life, she would cry and tell me how that reminded her of her life. And then I did do a lot of listening to her problems.
Okay, so you kind of split up the work there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they say, sometimes you're the patient, sometimes you're the therapist.
That's the motto of much worse help. Quite literally, sometimes you're the patient, sometimes you must be the therapist for only $20 a month.
Yeah. And use our code, to get 10% off.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to spell that because I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. You just whisper it to the computer.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
So this is great, you know. Eric, you've done therapy in the past?
I have done therapy.
How'd that go?
Good. I don't go as frequently as I would like to. Probably, and as much as I probably should.
It's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
I don't have very good insurance.
It's more expensive than neuro gum, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And that will cure what ails you.
For a time. For a short, sweet bit of time.
But you know what they say? When you pay the piper, that's fine. That's good. The piper is always fair.
Yeah, the piper takes exactly what he wants or what you want to give him, and Nothing in return.
It's a pay what you can with the piper.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's a sliding scale piper. But my therapist is still in Chicago because I probably could get a cheaper therapist through one of those websites or one that, but I'm afraid to get one that takes my shitty insurance because I can't be very good.
Yeah.
That's taking New York City Medicaid. And I don't want to have to explain all my crap to a new person. I would rather pay $142 per session and not have, and then I can jump back in. Yeah. Because then I can do it less. I feel like, because I'm like, hey, you remember this about, how I am in relationships and my dad and
You're not gonna believe it, but here we go again.
One time she literally goes, "You're still on this?"
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hard. That's tough love. That's what I would expect from a Chicago therapist.
Yeah, no, I like her so much. She's great.
Bullshit. She's eating a fucking hot dog, wiping her mouth with her sleeve.
Oh yeah.
Telling you to man up. Telling you that your problems remind her of the Cubs season.
Oh God! Until 2016 when we won it all, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does kind of not bullshit sometimes, and which is what I want in a therapist. I don't want someone to be like, oh, you like to tell me I'm right in my actions. Like if I'm wrong, just be like, you're an idiot. Like I would love for a therapist to be like, stop being a fucking idiot. Like, because I'm pretty good at deciphering my feelings.
Yeah.
Just takes a minute sometimes.
Fuck, I don't know what I need, but I had therapy for like years and years and years, and I will say it helped me over. Oh, NeuroGum? Thanks. Let me give this a shot. Now, warning.
We're not sponsored by NeuroGum, but we would love to be.
Yeah, but we'll find out which version of NeuroGum we're sponsored by next episode.
Should we? I am nervous if this goes all right and we actually start getting sponsors. How they're going to be like, how are they going to tell which one's the real one?
They won't know which sponsor to shoot.
Exactly.
People are going to be like, I don't know what's the real sponsor, Shopify or Much Worse Help. What's the real sponsor, Squarespace or Tushy Extreme?
Wait, you were mentioning about therapy.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I just I feel like I haven't cracked the nut. I would say this. Early days, I was having some trouble with the family, which obviously was more broad trouble than I realized. And it helped me tap into a little bit of rage. And then it helped me tap into a little bit of desire for vengeance and confrontation. More so confrontation. And then it helped me forgive and get over that. Not that there was much to forgive. My parents are great, but, we all carry certain wounds and grievances. And it just helped me sort of, I don't know, I have a much better relationship with my family now. So that's great. But I feel like therapy was good for that first hump. And then I haven't quite cracked the rest of it, which is like, why me depressed all the time? And why me anxious all the time? Me medicated? What can me do? Why me think about death so often? And the only way to feel okay about that is to really dive into those thoughts. Somehow that's soothing.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to die per se, but it's just like, I just want a break. Yeah. And like a real one. But I will never get it because I still have a brain.
And there's the problem.
Because there's always something to do. And there's always something that could be done.
And this
we will never get to the end of it.
This is where it comes back to Much Worse Help's newest service, which is peer-to-peer lobotomies.
God.
Put a spike up your nose and hammer away until the bad thoughts go.
We partnered with a knitting club recently.
Oh yeah, for free needles.
Free needles.
Lobotomies are still going on in certain parts of the world.
Really?
Lobotomies were happening until recently. When were lobotomies banned in the United States? It's like, when I was reading about it, it was so recent that it fucked me up.
When I went to a French gay club, I said, lobotomy. like fuck my ass.
Yeah. No, I understand.
But like French.
Yeah, but French. French for the... And French, of course, for bottom, which is bottom.
And me.
and me. Lobotomies are not commonly used in the United States, but they are still legal. The last time lobotomies were openly used to treat mental illness in the United States was in the 80s. Isn't that fucked? Some people were listening to Duran Duran.
Well, that's a lobotomy in itself.
And those people needed a lobotomy.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think... It seems pretty cool.
Lobotomy?
Like, when I watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's a happy movie. Mm-hmm. Just staring at the end.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going on up there.
Every time they have to get those little paper shot glasses full of pills, and the movie's telling us, like, this is how they keep us numb. I watch that and I go, I want
that.
If I was in that place, I would be lining up for the pills. I'd be cutting in line.
I'd be going back for seconds.
I want that shit. Take me away. Let me float.
I'm doing that to myself.
Yeah.
But through various things I find at the bodega.
You are your own Nurse Ratched.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. I remember them playing basketball.
Danny DeVito's really good in it.
Danny DeVito, yes, he is very good in it. I remember that too.
Mm-hmm.
The original Short King.
That's so true.
Danny DeVito.
He's so small.
Yeah. I saw him in my belly button the other day.
I said, Danny.
I said, get out of there. And he went, you know where where's the set? And I go, for It's Always Sunny? And he goes, yeah.
What was he like as a teenager? That's what I want to know. Because, I mean, he's so fitting as like a crazy, goblin-y old man. Yeah. It's perfect. I'm guessing he was always kind of like that, and he like grew into it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were always older, or like you fit... Do you feel like you're growing into yourself?
I was born quite old. So I'm the original Ben Button.
Yeah.
So I was born, I want to say, 75.
Yeah.
So high school was a mess because I was between the years of like 58 and 50, aging down.
Sure.
So none of the girls wanted me to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And none of the guys wanted me around. And all the teachers called me sir. And they all knew what was going on. They knew I had the brain of like a 12 to 18-year-old, but they couldn't wrap their heads around it.
You say, come on, baby, and say, get your old ass out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just an old one. No, I would say that I was a very immature youth. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to flip that switch.
Yeah. What did you do as an immature youth?
Well, my favorite thing to do... Because, my parents really wanted me to be like a cultured boy, like they had me playing the cello and they had me doing homework all the time. And my dad would try and like get me to watch art films. But I didn't want none of that stuff. I just wanted to watch The Terminator over and over again. And then the only thing I wanted to do after school was drive around in my friend's car and throw stuff at homes.
Now we're talking.
We would throw apples, and then if we ran out of apples, we would throw nuts and bolts from a toolkit. He wanted to damage windows, and he did. He wanted to smash stuff.
Did you break other people's things?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then there was a period where another one of my friends and I would just go around the neighborhood stealing hood ornaments, and we would just tear those things off. And I was staking out a Mack truck near my house because I wanted that bulldog, but it was like a big truck parked.
Oh, and I bet the driver was... No easy customer.
There's no way I would have gotten away with that. But I did go up to it in the cover of night with a screwdriver and start jacking away.
And you were also screwing the thing off.
Yeah, I was masturbating from the sheer thrill of it. And then one time we stole the boomerang off the back of a limo, and that's how we learned that that's a TV antenna.
Whoa.
Because we thought it was like some sort of ornament, but then a bunch of wires were springing out.
Did you just rip them off?
No, we ripped out the antenna, and then we saw the wires, and we went, boom.
Oh, boy.
So I was just an idiot. But I was an idiot with this like voice in the back of my head, which was my parents, which was like begging me to be smarter and more refined.
Yeah, I feel that. I never got into breaking other people's stuff. I did love breaking things, though, in general. There is a thrill to that as a boy.
You love to break.
To smash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In college, did I tell you about this in my fraternity? We had this thing called Brotherhood. and like we get drunk together, just like specifically all the house together, like once a semester. And one year, it was the vibe was off. It was kind of dead. We were all just sitting drinking, and this one crazy guy, Tom Connolly, who I think is like a city alderman and will probably be like the mayor of Chicago one day. He's insane. He used to drape his balls over our laptops while we were like working in the kitchen.
Jesus Christ.
And he looks around and we're all just drinking. He goes, fuck this. And he goes outside and he grabs the Christmas tree from outside and he just drags it inside and then looks around. He's like, and we're all like, it was like the scene in 2001. Like one guy gets the idea and then someone takes something and just smashes it on the ground. And that became the event. So once a semester, we would hoard glass, anything to break. Yeah. And then we had this big courtyard in the back and we'd just smash it. And we'd light stuff on fire. And like, I was the social chair, so I always had to be the one to talk to the cops when they showed up. Wow. And like, the apartments behind us would like watch it as we like lit the Christmas tree on fire, and there's a bit they were like live tweeting it. It was so cool. I have old videos. Guys got up on the roof and they threw a TV off the roof. And in the video the TV smashes and then all of us converge on the TV and start like stomping it. It was like apes at the zoo. Yeah. And it was really special. And I try to explain this to like women I've dated.
Oh yeah.
And they don't get it.
They don't get it.
And I think though, in retrospect, it did stop us from breaking things on the day to day because we knew we had this one time where it was the Purge.
Yeah, it was the Purge for boys.
Purge for boys. Brought to you by Purge for Boys.
Not men, not women. Boys.
Yeah, I'm very pro boys' rights, not men's rights. I want to be clear. Boys' rights.
The right for boys to smash things once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week, let us blow.
Have you ever been in one of those smash rooms, those rage rooms?
No.
Dude, you should. They're really fun.
Have you ever been in my bedroom around tax season? Because you'd think it's one of those types of rooms. We got some house and life updates.
Yeah.
And I want to give some of those out, offer these in a new segment we call House and Life Updates. Come in. Boys, Erik, Mark, how are things going at the home you share? Here we go. So, here's something that's new with us. Now, Erik, besides working on the studio here and working on your bedroom, you have, of course, been working on a shrink ray for the apartment.
Of course.
You've been doing a very good job of it.
Yeah. Had a hard time getting my penis in here.
Wait, why is that?
It's so big.
Because you flipped it to...
I need a shrink ray.
Oh, you needed the
shrink ray to get my penis in here.
Yeah. So Erik was building a shrink ray just to make his penis closer to the average size.
Yep. New York City, the apartments are tight.
Yeah. He wanted it to be designated as big and not not an WMD. Mm-hmm. Women, much desire.
Exactly.
So, as we all know,
they had those in Iraq, I hear. They never found them, but they're there.
So you were working on this shrink ray, and just to give a little update on how that's going. So, currently, penis smaller, but here's the issue: is our landlord got shrunk. Now, here's what I want to say is that a lot of people might be hearing that like, oh, great, you shrunk your landlord, no issues no more. That couldn't be further from the truth. This guy can get wherever he wants now. He's coming through the cracks in the walls. He's sneaking under the door, and he is constantly getting our goat.
When we need our goat.
There's nothing we want more than our goat.
We want our goat. Why do you want my goat? Yeah, he keeps popping in here. Getting the rent, spying on us, saying stuff like, stop putting so many holes in the walls and building your weird studio.
Yeah. He keeps telling us to stop building our studio. He goes, you're keeping the neighbors up with all that hammering so late at night.
Mm-hmm. And
Here's the other issue. He wants us to shrink his wife and kids down.
So they can move in too.
Because I think he's now he's been taking a page out of the book, out of the movie Downsizing, I think. Because he's been saying, oh yeah, because I see him looking around at the shrink ray like, oh, if I shrunk down all my tenants, I could fit way more in here and get way more rent. And I just hate seeing his little wheels turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He's listing the open apartments in the building on Craigslist as 600-foot tall ceilings.
Yeah. And then in brackets, if you smile.
If you smile. If you smile. That's smile.
And I also just find him nasty and disgusting now because sometimes I'll wake up and he's literally curled up next to me on my pillow like a little dog. And then I wake up and he wakes. It's cute as hell. But then he wakes up and he's like, I needed to come down here and tell you something. Last night my wife and I did it. And I snuck right up inside her, Richard Gere style. And I got in there and I just curled up. I just curled up like a fetus in the womb. And I was at home. But then I came out and I patted her clit until she came. And I was just like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to know none of this.
I just woke up.
Just woke up.
Patted her clit.
Patted it. He said patted it. Then he said he worked it like a speed bag.
Yeah, like Rocky in the meat locker.
He said he worked it like Rocky in the meat locker.
Mm-hmm. You're a bum. And he also shrunk down an old Irish drunk to cheer him on while you're a bum.
So I will say this: we gotta find a reverse switch for this shrink ray, and I think that's got to be your next project, Eric, because this landlord situation is fucking me up, and I don't like it.
Well, I do love a project.
Yeah.
So I'll get to working on that with my new soldering iron.
Last night I saw him riding a rat. That fucking sucked. I hated it.
Yeah.
And he kept going. He kept saying to me, "Look at this horse," and I was like, "Okay, who's gonna tell him?"
Who's gonna tell him?
That's a fucking rat, dude. If your horse got a long rat tail, that's a rat.
If it walks like a rat and squeaks like a rat, that's a rat.
If your horse has little claws with nails on them and no hooves that go clip-clop, and it eats garbage and drags pizza around the steps of the subway, honey, that's a rat.
If your horse has a odd Japanese accent and is coaching 4 turtles in the sewer, that's a rat, honey.
A rat.
That's a rat, honey.
I like thinking of Splinter as a coach.
Yeah. Yes. Instead of a sensei.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Easy now.
I was just clearing my throat.
Yeah.
Did I tell you?
Do an impression of a Japanese guy clearing his throat.
Did I tell you my new joke?
No, tell me.
About it's like the TikTok ban and stuff that happened and then didn't happen that might still happen.
Yeah.
I say I was talking to somebody in my hometown, small hometown, and they're worried. They're like, well, what about the Chinese? You know, the Chinese are the ones, they're collecting all the data. No. What about the Chinese? What if they take over? And I was like, I don't know. I'm a positive guy. If the Chinese take over, that would mean that we're Chinese, which means we can do the voice.
Oh my God.
That's not bad.
I will tell you this. If China took over, they would probably not care if we did the voice.
No.
But also, if China took over and you did the voice, honey, that's punching up now.
Yeah, I'm assimilating.
Okay.
Got that.
They haven't taken over yet.
In my dreams.
Let me ask you this. What's worse, in your opinion, the TikTok ban or the Taliban?
Wow.
What's worse?
I think TikTok ban.
TikTok ban? Because you weren't really affected when they banned Tala.
No. Tala I never got into Tala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that was banned, it didn't really matter to us.
No. I could see how that would affect some. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, TikTok's something I use every day. It's actually, Tala never helped my career too much.
Yeah. It was sort of a subpar app.
Yeah.
I want to say subpar app.
Mm-hmm.
Tala was a subpar app, sort of more in the vein of Vine. I remember Tally, you could only post very short videos, and the algorithm would only promote them if there was beheadings in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that sucked.
Yeah, because I never got into that. That was never my brand of humor.
You're not a shock comic.
No. Or a prop comic.
I miss the days of, imagine if you were a comedian in the days of Gallagher. Is there a Gallagher of today? For anyone listening who could possibly not know Gallagher, he wore red suspenders, he had a big goofy mop of hair and a mustache, and his whole bit was that he would take a sledgehammer and smash a watermelon.
See, I've never actually seen any Gallagher.
There's clips online.
I'm sure. But I only know the lore.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories of like comedians who have interacted with him.
Yeah.
And how funny and crazy. More funny of the interaction, not that the interaction itself was that funny.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's on the Mark Maron podcast, but by all account, and in that podcast, and by all accounts, he's a furious man.
Yeah.
Which is such a funny thing to pair with everything else about him.
I think Joe List maybe has a story about how when he was like young, he was either opening for Gallagher or like, I don't know, was on a show, and like Gallagher pulled him aside afterwards or something, and like in full seriousness was like, you should like bring a basketball on stage. Like, just hold it. And he goes, he's like, my act has nothing to do with basketball. He goes, no, yeah, but they need something. Like the audience needs something to latch on to you.
That's going to be your bit.
You should hold a basketball.
And here's the thing. I know what you're thinking. I don't want to hold a basketball the whole time. Well, here's the thing. By the end of your set, let's just say the basketballs.
No more.
No more. Let's just say there's a hammer that comes into play. Or a knife.
Stab the basketball.
Fuck that thing up. Do we have a Gallagher in this day and age? Who's our novelty comic? Jeff Dunham's come and gone.
Yeah.
And he wasn't quite a Gallagher.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jeff Dunham's still around, too. I wonder if he still does his racist, dead terrorist puppet.
I love how every Jeff Dunham puppet is the puppet going like, rah, 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 and saying a bunch of slurs. And then Jeff Dunham goes, hey, come on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, no. And the crowd goes, Jeff, control them.
Because I can't.
I wish I could.
Well, I mean, Carrot Top's still around. But like,
man, I fucking love Carrot Top.
Yeah, that's the thing about he's done some interviews lately, and I think comics are finally coming around.
He rocks
and being like, oh, like your Nickelbacks. Like it's like, what did they really ever do to anybody?
Yeah,
nothing. And it's like, and they're talented.
Yeah.
And he's like building these fucking elaborate props. He's been doing it for 40 years or something insane.
The backlash against prop com, again, like Nickelback. If he hadn't been as famous as he was, no one would have cared, I think. But the backlash against the principle of prop comedy is like, what, we've got standards now?
Yeah.
Comedians have standards? What the fuck are you talking about?
And especially if you can do this prop comedy for that long, you're coming up with something innovative. Like,
he's great.
You know what I mean?
I once thought that he was bad, and then my friend had a DVD of Carrot Top in Vegas. So we watched it with the intention of laughing at it.
Yeah.
And by the end of that DVD, honey, I was a top fan. Mm-hmm. I was a bottom.
A carrot bottom.
As he calls us.
Bet your bottom dollar.
He's just so funny and charming. And then this goes a long way. He's the anti-Gallagher, which is offstage, by all accounts, he seems like the sweetest, nervous little guy.
I remember one he had where he pulls out, he goes, these are Paris Hilton's underwear, and it was a pair of panties with a guest book sign on it.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Looking back, a little rude, but...
A little rude, a little crude, but that's our dude.
So true. Do you remember when Jimmy Fallon was on Weekend Update, when he was hosting Weekend Update?
Yeah.
They had Paris Hilton on, and this was after this Paris Hilton sex tape.
Yeah.
And I love P. Hiltz for this one. She went on, and Jimmy was like, "Oh, you're part of the Hilton family, and I saw that there's a Hilton in Paris. So there's actually a Paris Hilton." She goes, "Yeah, Jimmy," and he goes, "Is it hard to get into the Paris Hilton?" And like, it's pretty exclusive. And he goes, "I'm kind of famous. Can I go around the back?" And like all these, and she was like, "That's so cool of her to do." To be like, oh, I'm going to make fun of myself.
Yeah.
I love it when people do that.
Yeah.
It's a
But you got to finish the bit. She said, maybe you can go around the back. And then Jimmy said, I want to fuck your ass.
Can I fuck the Paris Hilton's ass?
Yeah. And then she said, I don't know.
The building?
Yeah, and she went, the building? And then Jimmy looked at the camera and said, I think we got our wires crossed. He's like, can we take this again? Paris, I want to fuck your ass.
So it's like, and the guy's checking the cue cards, like, where is that?
And he goes, oh, there it is. Pulls it out. It's right there.
Yeah, so it's been there the whole time.
Then he pulls out another cue card for Paris Hilton that says, yes.
And they're in Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy
Fallon's
handwriting.
Yeah.
Which I can only imagine is full-fisted.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon does have toddler who got big energy.
Yeah, dude. I like Fallon. I would like to hang out with him. I hear he's a fun dude outside of work.
I got no feelings on Fallon. I've liked him. I've disliked him. I did think he was great on Weekend Update.
Same.
But I think that was largely the jokes. And I think Tina Fey was fucking killing it back
Yeah,
then.
I think him and Tina Fey were great together. That was when I was in high school, which is always, your SNL cast is when you're in high school.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big fan of Chevy and John Belushi and Gilda Radner and the rest.
Yeah, your big Aykroyd head.
Now it's time for a segment that we love called New Guys.
New Guys.
Oh my God, who's that? Oh my God, who's that? New Guys. Oh my God, who's that? Oh my God, who's that? New Guys. Today, Eric, we're talking about TV doctors. Now, TV doctors have a long legacy. We love these medical procedurals, but more than that, we love an unconventional doctor.
Yeah.
A doctor who doesn't play by the rules. He throws out the rule book, and you'd be inclined to say, this guy doesn't even belong in a hospital. But here's the thing. He's the best.
He's the God.
So I don't know. Do you want decorum, or do you want patients getting better?
Yeah.
Do you want a nice tidy rule book, or do you want success?
If my life's on the line, you can smack my little bottom and call me a gay wad.
Yeah. If my doctor's calling me a gay little piggy while he successfully removes my tumor, honey, oink, oink. So obviously we got a couple of examples. We got Dr. House.
Yeah.
One of the famous. Of course, he didn't follow the rules. He walked with a limp.
That's the biggest issue we had with him.
It's a big no-no in the doctor community.
Wait, he couldn't even fix himself, see?
And he was rude as hell.
Yeah.
We know that. Now on the other end of the spectrum, we've got the good doctor, who is...
Good wordplay.
He's an autistic man.
Yeah.
What's he doing in that
There's
hospital? I'll tell you what he's doing in that hospital. His fucking job.
Dude, there's so many autistic doctor shows.
Are there?
Maybe. Okay. I think there's one or maybe it's just all on The Good Doctor. And because I only ever see these shows or see previews for these shows when I'm at my parents' house, watching network television. And there's one The Good Doctor has finally met his match, and it's just a girl autistic doctor who can't look at him and be like, well, actually, I think you should do this. And he's like, well, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
they just out autism each other.
The human body is a lot like trains.
Do you think
new TV doctors? So I'll go first, Eric.
Hit it.
Because we're trying to flood the market even more. We want more TV doctors, more unconventional TV doctors, breaking the rules, doing things their own way. So here's one that I want. His name is Babyface. He's the best doctor, but he's got the face of a baby, and his hands are small. So
which is actually good for doctorisms.
So nobody trusts this guy. And he's also quite rude. So Babyface, going about his business, people are like, he's got the face of a baby. Yeah? Well, I'm sorry, do you need your doctor to look like a full-grown adult? Or do you need the surgery to get completed?
One question about Babyface.
Yeah.
What you've described his face and his hands, what are the rest of his body?
Small as hell.
Okay. So he's his whole body's baby.
Yeah, he's all a baby. And so another doctor has to carry him around. But he's got the mind of a man.
And then he'll just start crying.
He does cry.
Yeah.
He does cry, and he must be fed. But he's got the mind of a man, and he's got nimble little hands, and he's great at surgery. He's quite dexterous. So he could feed himself, but he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but occasionally during surgery, he just needs to be put down.
Yeah.
Put down for a nap.
But here's the thing about Babyface is that he is quite rude, so he will turn to some of the female doctors and the nurses, and he'll say, I don't know, my blood sugar's crashing. I think I need a nibble. And you know what he means.
Yeah.
He's ogling their breasts, and then they roll their eyes and they go, HR's going to hear about this.
And he goes, HR's my best friend. He loves this kind of shit. HR's this pervert I know.
Babyface, he's a great doctor. So if you can put up, so yeah. And listen, every episode is an adventure.
Oh, I'm sure.
These people, the regular doctors can't even diagnose half of what's going on, or they're misdiagnosing it. Oh, they're saying, he's got a liver problem. The problem's in his spine. Nobody knows it except Babyface, who...
He's laying back there, head. The problem's in his spine.
Yeah. Yes, his neck can't support his big head, but he can diagnose the fuck out of you in a flash. And sometimes his head lolls back and he gets a better view of you. And you can see the little curvatures of your spine and tell that that's where the issue is. And then he points to it. And then he says, my work is done here. And he does one dookie in his undies. Diaper, of course.
Sure.
Okay.
Babyface. On CBS.
Yeah, on CBS.
Next fall. Real quick, before I get to my new guy, I was looking up current or former TV doctors, well known, and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, came up.
Oh, I remember her.
Did you watch that show?
No, but I was super aware of it when I was a kid.
Sure. I mean, I've been aware of it because it's a known show, but I never saw it. And I always assumed that it was two people, Dr. Quinn
and the medicine
woman. Like Dr. Quinn was a doctor.
You thought it was a tag team.
Yeah, and Dr. Quinn could have been a man or a woman, but the medicine woman was like almost like a shaman sort of thing. Like
certainly a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a Native American.
Yeah, like the Lone Ranger in Tonto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
Right.
Because I guess maybe I'm just so progressive that I never would have thought that they would have needed to clarify medicine woman. It could have just been Dr. Quinn and then just show a photo of a lady.
Yeah, that's really progressive of you.
Yeah. Dr. Quinn, fucking surgical bitch.
Dr. Quinn, medical professional. How about that?
There it is.
Now, Medicine Woman does help us understand that she is kind of, because she's in the jungle, right?
Oh, I don't know. That if it explains a little more,
it does.
I'm sure it does.
I believe she's in shaman country. She's sort of doing her thing, mixing up Western and non-Western medicines. But I say this not knowing for sure. All right, Eric, give me a new TV doctor.
Okay, so we know Dr. House. Yeah, he's rude.
He's rude.
He's the best. This is Dr. Gazebo.
Oh my God.
He's also hard to deal with, but he's the freaking best. So you kind of put up with him.
Yeah.
But he figures things out through being a pervert.
Okay. Yeah. How's that work?
Well, you know how you mentioned about Babyface Doctor, how he diagnoses in a flash?
Yeah.
This guy actually diagnoses in a flash.
He needs to get completely naked, rub his nipples, go into sort of a blissed out state.
Well, yeah, and you flash him either here or here.
Oh, you got to flash him.
Well, he'll be naked too. Yeah, you got to flash him, and he goes...
awooga, 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 a woo gut biome. It's in her gut.
It's in her gut. She goes, what?
Like, he's horny. He needs to horny word associate from a blissed out horny place. You've got to get naked for him and just let him talk. He goes, nice, mommy. He goes, baby, lie down. lie down. You lie down on your back. Her back's.
Her back.
I want to hit it from the back.
I want to hit it from the back.
And he doesn't always solve the problem.
Yeah. Sometimes he gets off course. Of course. Yeah. So he figures out they're being a perv, and between surgeries, he's constantly dealing with his several sexual harassment suits.
Yeah, you got to do that. And there's only so many.
What about this? He shows up to he shows up to work in like a very nice tuxedo, and he goes, "This is my sexual harassment suit."
Hell yeah.
He goes, "Nice ass."
Yeah, and the other doctors go, "Could he not? At the very least, could he not joke about it?"
He's so goddamn good.
The hospital boss is like, "God damn it, Gazebo. You're making my job hell. But you're the freaking best."
Leave your fuzzy handcuffs on the table.
Here's a new doctor. OCD MD. Now, in the vein of the good doctor, this is a great doctor with OCD. So he has to do every part of the surgery 8 times. He's got to unstitch you 8 times. He's got to stitch you up 8 times. You got to take that thing out 8 times. You got to put that thing back in 8 times. But it may take a while. But he's the best. If only he weren't so freaking rude.
Yeah. And insurance companies love him.
Insurance companies love him. Because he takes an age. Yeah.
So long. And he gives you 8 times the recommended dosage of pills.
Yeah.
So that's my doctor, baby.
Yeah. And if you don't do exactly what he says, he screams. He hits himself in the head and he screams. And he does have to stop once a surgery to run home and check the stove.
Yeah. To wash his hands.
Wash his hands.
In the toilet.
Check the stove.
Yeah. What about the good dentist?
Finally.
Yeah.
An autistic dentist.
And you only see him at the very, very end of each episode because the hygienist kind of does most of the work.
Yeah.
The hygienist is figuring most of it out. And she's very lovely.
She's great.
She's very great. And then the dentist comes in and goes, tap, 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 tap. All good here.
Yeah. He comes in and he says, you wanted me to pull out all of his teeth? To the hygienist. He's like, no, that's not the problem. His mouth is sore because he doesn't have enough teeth. Put them in. He always fixes the problem at the last minute. He's autistic, but it doesn't come into it.
What about this?
You just have to know it as background info.
Okay. A Jewish doctor. That's not odd. That's okay.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Normal.
A Jewish doctor. But he's always finding different ways to fix people, like adding bones or something, you know.
Okay.
And he's unorthodox.
Now we're fucking talking. And here's the thing, though. You're thinking
he's a bone doctor, ortho.
He will dox you.
He tells everyone where you live.
But he's the fucking best.
He's the fucking best.
If only he weren't so goddamn rude.
And his mother keeps coming up.
He will operate on Gentiles, but he doesn't love it.
Yeah, an officer and a Gentile man.
Your brain's really working overtime today.
Narrow gun.
Unorthodox is a great one.
That's pretty good.
This is a great one. He's
got,
orthodox. Yeah, he's got the hat.
Well, he's got a yarmulke with a little propeller on it.
Okay.
What's up with him? He's a little unorthodox.
He's a little unorthodox, but he gets the fucking job done. He will swear at you. He'll call you the C word, but he'll fucking solve what ails you. Here's another doctor that I'm excited to see. This show's called Pet Peeve.
Mm-hmm. Vet? Is he veterinary?
He's a vet, but he's got bulimia.
Wow.
Also, he's got a number of pet peeves.
Sure.
Too many, including people.
He's petting a dog. He's like, if only people were as easy as this.
Yeah. So he's so nice to the dog, but when the owners come in, he's rude as all get out. Mm-hmm. He calls them B word, C word, F slur. He'll go racial, but he gets the job done. They bring their pet in to have it put down,
and he always kills that dog. He's never not killed a dog. He thinks every surgery is putting the dog down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. It's gonna take a while because he's gonna be binging and he's gonna be purging. It doesn't really tie into his veterinary practice, but he
needs a fatal flaw.
You know that he's got body issues, and he's purging.
Yeah, because like a malnourished dog will come in and he'll go, "Wow, look at that body."
He'll say, "What's your secret?"
Just tell me. And then he's petting a cat, and the cat will do that thing where it turns around and it goes, "I wish humans would be as simple as just showing me their butthole." Mm-hmm.
Most of these episodes is just him working alone, talking, sort of monologuing at animals about what he wishes his life were like. Then he'll go to the bathroom, puke a bit, and then deal with a customer who says, "I thought it was just a small issue." And he says, "Small issues snowball. You're going to have to put this thing down eventually. I saved you the trouble."
Yeah. Listen, did I ever tell you, this is a sad story, but it's like a funny, sad story. My dog, Bailey, she's a golden retriever, beautiful, sweet, sweet dog. She tore her ACL, which sucks because then she lost her scholarship. And we sent her to the vet to get her ACL fixed, and they do it. And then she's on a walk the next morning or 2 mornings later and just dies. On a walk, just falls over and dies.
Whoa.
Like I don't know if it's a blood clot or an aneurysm or something. Which, like, as sad as it is, like, I love that dog. Funniest way for a dog to die, to just go, bah. Yeah. And imagine, and it was probably some like job shadow intern, like high schooler walking this beautiful golden retriever that then just died.
It must have been the New Orleans Pelicans medical staff.
The New Orleans Pelicans.
It's an NBA team with a constantly injured roster.
Yes.
So it's time for some shout outs and plugs, Eric. We end every episode with a little shout out and a little plug. Today I'd like to shout out non-load bearing walls and pillars and beams. Mm-hmm. So much credit is given to these walls and beams and pillars and that bear a load, that hold up the building. But shout out to the walls that are just hanging, just chilling. They could get removed, wouldn't make a difference. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't matter a bit. The building would still stand as it is. These walls are they're just fucking hanging out. They're cool, they're calm, they're collected, and they don't want nothing and they don't give nothing.
They say, "Don't mind me, baby." And if you're going to hang something on me, you better put one of those little blue things in there.
Because I don't have much structure to me.
Yep.
There ain't no wood in me, baby. I'm just plaster on plaster.
Mm-hmm. And drop ceilings, for that matter.
Yeah. So shout out to the non-load bearing beams, pillars, and walls of the world. We see you. We appreciate you and hope for your humble service of just sort of being there.
Yeah. We could all take a little page out of that book.
You
don't always need to bear the load.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a lesson in the non-load bearing beams, pillars, and walls. And that is that you don't always got to bear the load. Sometimes you can let someone else do it and you can just fucking chill.
Just chill. Okay, cool. My shout out and plug is going to be for stuff at gas stations or bodegas that can get you kind of high.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, anything from nicotine, caffeine, to those weird like pills behind the counter. Try some. Some give you a boner, and some will do other stuff.
Yeah. Some will pucker that butthole.
And some will loosen it right up.
And while you're there, I find that bodegas are such a great source of like old milk. And you can buy that, drink that, and see what it does to you.
Yep. And another quick shout out to the cats in a bodega.
Oh my God. Bodega cats.
I love them.
They're such a treat.
You know, that's because there's to eat the rats.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But better them than me. When I
first moved here, I was a bodega cat. I got hired as a bodega. That was my first job.
I got hired as a bodega guy, and I hated most of my job. I loved sitting on a little scratching post and sort of napping, but I hated eating rats. So it was a real give and take sort of job.
Yeah.
I loved it when people would come in and say, "Oh, so cute, can I pet him?" But I hated, not to be a broken record, catching and eating the rats.
Yeah, I loved showing people my butthole.
Oh my God. Rubbing ass against them and then acting coy like I didn't initiate this. But here's the downside to being a bodega guy or a cat. So occasionally there's rats.
Yeah.
And you're expected to get them and eat them and pull the bones out, ding, 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 in one straight shoot.
Yep.
It's too much.
And don't get me wrong, I loved going piss and shit in a little box.
The best. Yeah.
Kicking dirt over it.
Yeah, you loved doing your business in a little dirt box.
Yeah.
And then barely covering it up.
And but the main part of the job was eating rats.
So that's it. Shout out Bodega Cats. Shout out non-load-bearing walls and pillars and beams. And of course, shout out to stuff that gets you high. Thank you for listening to Whoa, That's Sick. We'll be back next time with more
things,
sponsors and stuff.
Goodbye, folks.